hear that music, you know what time it is. And sorry for the tech delay. We're going to blame it on the brother to the far right. No telling he was eating some nachos or something. But we are excited tonight, you guys, because we got a great show lined up for you. This is somebody, you guys, that I've known for a very long time. This is one of my OGs. This is somebody that was a big-time playmaker at the University of Colorado. But first and foremost, I'm going to introduce the gentleman that always holds me down every single Thursday, and that's none other than Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach? We'll deal with you later.
Hopefully you guys can hear me.
What's up, though, y'all? We back in the saddle, man. We got a great show. We got a great guest, so we gonna break the huddle and get at it.
Let's do it.
All right. So, hey, let's
see. Now I told you.
You
did.
Yeah, you did.
Hey, you did. I ain't wrong.
You did.
Look here, man. Look.
You did.
And I love it because we live. That's what the beauty of it. It's raw.
It is the beauty of it.
Ain't no outtakes.
No. It's like you hit the wrong button. It's like,
I'm telling you, that's what I told you, boy. It's that altitude, boy. I told you, boy. That boy's up in the mountains too long. Boy, I told you.
So obviously we are live, as you guys can see. But let's get into it, man. I see some people already joining us. I've got the great Coach Eric Foss. He says it's Thursday edutainment. Subscribe and like. We definitely appreciate you, Coach Foss. Then we've got the playmaker, Sadite Green, coming out of LA and checking in. What's up, Coach? And we appreciate you guys joining us. So let's get into it, you guys. Sorry for the tech delay, but we've got a special host, or excuse me, guest tonight. This is somebody that I played with at the University of Colorado. Phenomenal run back. You guys really just didn't get his just due while he was at the University of Colorado, and we'll get into that a little bit tonight. Went on to have a good career in the NFL, played for the Chicago Bears, toting the rock in the Windy City, and he's got a lot of advice, you guys, and just really sound things that he wants to share with athletes and parents tonight, and that is none other than the great Marlon Barnes. What's going on, playmaker?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. I appreciate you calling me playmaker, man. That make me feel special, you know. Good to see you, though, bro.
I didn't like seeing you in practice. I didn't like you making plays at practice, but we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. So let's get into it, you guys. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the Locker Room Show. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. You got Q, you got Marlon. We got all our topics right there on the bottom ticker. So we're about to get into it. And the first thing I want to bring up is Memphis to Boulder, MB. Memphis to Boulder. Not a lot of young men can make that trip and do it successfully. Obviously, you know, a lot different than where you grew up, you know, not a lot, let alone the mileage, but also just the social piece. So I wanted to ask you, man, how does somebody go from Memphis to Boulder? What made you say Colorado is where I need to be?
Man, that's such a loaded question. And I think it's a great question because, I mean, I grew up in, you know, SEC, man. I mean, Ole Miss down the road. I committed to go to UT originally, University of Tennessee. And so, to be honest with you, man, it's kind of a long answer, but I'll try to break this down and chop it up for you a little bit. You know, I always say football kind of happened to me. You know, you have a lot of kids that have goals to one day play in the league or go to these big colleges and things of that nature. And it was late in high school before I really realized I could actually go to college and play football on a scholarship. And so watching the SEC and knowing some other people around the metro area who had went to SEC schools, there's a lot of pressure, you know, placed upon these players to perform. And I pretty much, I'm not going to lie, I kind of, West Tennessee, I kind of ran that, you know what I mean, in regards to my performance in the city and what was going on. And so I kind of had to pick of the litter around the metro area of Tennessee, at least the tri-state area. But there was something about it that made me feel slightly uneasy in regards to being able to perform and live up to that expectation, if you will. Don't ask me why I thought like that at 17 years old, but I did. It was just something in me that was like, man, what happens if I don't perform at the level that everybody think I should? You know, how would I handle that? And so Terry Lewis, shout out to Coach Lewis, who was the lineman coach. He has roots in Memphis, actually, and he came out on a whim and was like, hey, I know you committed to Tennessee, but I just want to chat with you. And he came to the house and sat down, and he convinced me to come out for a visit. And I tell people all the time, if you ever been to Colorado, once you come down 36 and you see the valley, you see the Flatirons, you just kind of know what time it is. And I'd never been west of the Mississippi at that point in my life. And so once I saw that view and I, got a dose of what it was like to be in this type of environment, it felt refreshing to me. And it also was an opportunity for me to break away from what I felt like was some expectations being in the SEC and being, close to home. A lot of people followed me in a lot of, I don't want to say it was pressure, but I don't even know, like I said, why I was thinking that way. But at 17, I was like, man, it's a great way for me to get a fresh start and get away from it all. Right. And just relieve myself of some pressure. And so I was like, man, let's go. And also, Colorado was a powerful force at that point. You know what I mean? The university was really playing great football. And so it was exciting to come in and back up, or at least have the opportunity to compete to back up Rashawn Salam at that point. You know what I mean? So that was exciting as well. And so I made the leap.
Amazing. And obviously the Buffs were happy you did. I see a Buff right here. This is actually my mother-in-law, Victoria Jones, saying can't wait for another great Thursday night. She's out in Colorado. I see Jimmy Rucker always holding us down. He says long answers have great lessons in them. So yeah, you young athletes, pay attention. And this is somebody that you definitely want to get some answers from. Trust me on that. So let's go on, you guys, to our next topic. And this is a good one because I'm so glad we got you on. This is kind of along the lines of what you were talking about, just knowing who you are and knowing the best route for you. Running back and going to the NFL is not easy. It's not easy. And obviously you're someone that has accomplished that feat. But there's different ways to get there, you guys. There's different ways to get there. Some guys go with the big time Power 5 program, and you might have to be a number 2 to somebody like this. Or some guys go with the smaller schools like a Austin Eckler and find their way. I think he went to Western Colorado. So I'll start off with you, MB, since you're the one who's actually done it. What do you think from in-house with the NFL GMs and the scouts? Is it better if I'm a high school back right now? Is it better for me to go to Alabama or Georgia and be the number 2 guy? Or is it better maybe to go to a Sac State, a Florida International, and rush for 1,200 yards? What's your opinion?
Oh, gosh, that's such a great question. It depends. I think people fall in love with going to a Big 5 school a little bit too much. If you can play, you can play. Let's just break it all the way down. If you can play, you can play, which means that whatever environment you get into, you're going to be able to make a difference. People are going to want to know who you are. And so, it's exciting to be part of Power 5 and be on a big stage, but sometimes you just need to be on the field. Right. So a lot of, for me, it just depends. But what I value more than being at the Power 5 is getting a chance to see a player get on the field and dominate. Right. Because at the end of the day, you can go to these schools and back up and come in, sparingly, get a few carries here and there and show some flash. But there'll still be a question of whether you can handle the load, whether you can perform. I know people like to talk about levels, right? And there are levels. But there's something about getting the reps that really allows you to develop as a player. And I would tell any young guy, like, if you're torn between the two, if you're leveraging between a top Power 5 school and maybe going to a school of a lesser stature, maybe it might make sense for you to go and become a starter and get an opportunity to get some reps, develop your game. Get in the weight room, work out a little bit, get some tape, learn how to study tape, learn how to break down defenses, and you learn that by getting reps. You don't want to be sitting behind someone, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it depends, but I'm a proponent of being able to get on the field. What's the point of going to a big school and you can't get on the field?
That's a great
point right there, and that's a running back. Talk to me, Q, from a defensive back position. Let's say you're the scout of the Chargers. Are you valuing this kid that was just the nickel guy, the dime guy for Ohio State? Or are you evaluating this kid from Houston that had 6 picks? What you think?
No, I mean, no, I can agree definitely what MB said, man. I mean, it's you need to go where you're getting reps. I mean, so if you're a back, you're a running back, you need to go where you're gonna get carries. That part is where the portal can be your friend. Because say I am at a Youngstown State and I'm getting 13, 14, 1,500 yards freshman year because I'm on the field immediately sophomore year. Okay, well then I can get to that Tennessee or that Ohio State, and I'm battle tested. I'm older, I'm wiser, I understand my body, the game is slowed down, my IQ is increased, and to me, that's where you can utilize the portal. Assuming you didn't want to stay where you're at, which is perfectly fine too. But if you did want to go from a smaller stature school to a Power 5, that would be the way to do it. You got to get those reps, man. You got to have live bullets, man, flying at you, or you're just not going to be able to do it. And also, I believe that is another reason, T, what we were talking about a little bit last week, why, in my opinion, Saban stepped down, because you don't have these 3 and 4 and 5 deep anymore that are going to sit and wait because they don't have to. Like you're saying, they want to get reps, so they hit the portal. And that's what Alabama was based off of for the last decade, was wait your turn, then and then finally get on the field or whatever, whenever the case may be. And kids aren't doing that anymore. They want reps ASAP.
And really quick, Q, that's the thing about waiting for your reps, and I experienced this at CU, is that, I mean, you got to continue to be that guy while you're waiting for those reps, because the university, they're recruiting every year.
Right.
every year, right? You're the backup, and they're bringing in the top running back from around the country, to come to the school still, right? So you got to continue to be that guy while you're waiting, which puts a lot of pressure on these guys, right? And
it does.
And again, I think there's something to being able to be that guy while you're waiting. I got some thoughts about the portal, right? And I want to interject this really quick, is that the portal is not, I feel like the portal is not what everybody think it is. You can't change a team by just bringing in transfers through the portal, because there's only a couple of type of players that's really coming, right? You either got the guy who went to a lesser school and they dominated. Right. I mean, they went and put it on tape, and now they're saying, put me in, coach, I'm ready to come to see you.
Yeah.
And then you got these guys that are at the Power 5 schools that were waiting, and they probably wasn't that guy, right? Mm-hmm. But you upset because they're recruiting somebody else to come in, and you feel like somebody should hold a spot for you. So you mad, you want to jump in the portal and try to get in the game. Because let's face it, if I'm at Alabama backing up at first round draft pick, I'm sticking around if I'm up next, right? Good point. If there's pressure on me and there's questions if I'm going to be next, I'm probably going to jump into the portal. But the truth is, are you really that guy if you jumping in, if you couldn't be the backup where you were? So I got feelings about the portal really being able to provide the talent that people think. I think only 10 to 15% of those players are really truly going to make a difference on the team. Everyone else is scrambling for a spot.
That's a good point.
And that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah. No, and I mean, because I even think back to y'all, y'all's running back room. I mean, it was like as Rashawn kind of phased out, and then here you come, and you ready, and then you had Charrington, and then here comes my boy CJ, and all y'all all world backs. So I mean, I just remember because off of just y'all personnel playing y'all so much. I mean, y'all running back room was retarded. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
I thought I was gonna have to transfer when I
Oh
got
man,
here.
it was
Man.
all smoke in there, right?
My freshman year, man, it was Rashawn. Rashawn, the year he won the Heisman, they recruited myself, Herschel Troutman, and Lyndon Henry.
Florida.
And Lyndon was from Texas, Herschel was from Florida, and bro, man,
and you from Memphis, ain't nobody from Colorado.
Listen, man, I felt like I was the last on the list, bro. Them boys were serious, okay?
Yeah,
they were serious.
Yeah, it was, man.
So I mean, and so with the competition was real, and so I like to tell these young players, like, man, don't be afraid of competition, but it's a lot of running going on with these transfer portals, right? There's a lot of running going on. There's a lot of running, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, we argue that all the time. I mean, me and T argue that all the time. I mean, you can't run from the smoke forever, man. You know, you're gonna have to, and we're so biased because our age group, our era, you had to take all the smoke regardless.
Oh yeah,
Like the only way you're gonna get on that field is we gonna have to scrap about it. That's the only way, and sometimes that's the best way. So we'll leave that today.
There you go. No, that's a topic we can talk about for a while. I see the great Albus Brooks coming in. He says, MB, let's get some Okies in. And no, that is one of our boys been on the show. Thank you for joining us. And then the great Jimmy Rucker says, with the portal, college football is experience with college basketball experience with the one and dones. That's a good point. So
that's a great
little
point.
bit of a different view. But yeah, those coaches are losing kids for sure. Good feedback right there, you guys. Let's go on to our next topic. And this one, kind of in line with what we talked about last week, Q, where we were wondering if Alabama was going to be able to keep slapping people up and down the field without Nick Saban. And now we got old Jimmy. Jimmy Harbaugh says, I'm going back to the NFL and got my national championship, and now I need to win my Super Bowl. So now Michigan, of course, is looking for their new coach and may hire from within. But I wanted to ask you guys, and we'll start off with you, Q. What do we get first? Do we get a Michigan national championship, or do we get a Harbaugh Super Bowl after the breakup? Which one do we get first?
He's not gonna get to the Super Bowl, man. I mean, one thing I will say with Herbert, I mean, I know that he is extremely good at developing quarterbacks, so that's gonna be a great fit. He's already been there. Obviously his brother's been there for forever, and been extremely successful. They're still in the hunt, to win it all. So I think he'll do well. They still have some building to do as far as personnel, but that is an upgrade, with him being a head coach. We have to see how this affects Michigan. With him gone, a lot of kids, we're looking at Michigan. It might be 4 or 5-star kids out of high school or kids coming out the portal that were going there specifically to play for him. I say this all the time. These kids, a lot of times, it's the school, yes, but in most cases, they follow the coaches. The coach is what makes the university. You could have put Saban in Wyoming, and you would eventually got the same results. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. So that's gonna affect Michigan, I think, in a big way for kids that, hey, I want to specifically play for Coach Harbaugh.
All right. Well, talk to me, MB. What are you thinking? You think Harbaugh hits the top first with the Super Bowl? You think Michigan's going to be a little better off?
Man, I can't say either one. I think this is capitalizing on an opportunity, right? I love the narrative, right? But how often do coaches come out highly taunted like this and then go right into winning the Super Bowl, or vice versa? Right. I think there's a lot of work that he has to do in San Diego. Right. And then I think, to your point, the legacy of Michigan may deteriorate just a bit because he left. Right. So I think Michigan takes a step back. San Diego takes a step forward. Do they actually get to a Super Bowl? I think people throw the Super Bowl and winning national championships around like it's easy to do. These are once in a lifetime lottery type of situations,
right?
When you get, you know what I mean? Like every coach wish they can have an opportunity to taste that. And so, who knows which one will happen first, or if it would ever happen for either one of these teams or organizations.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a great opportunity for him to move forward and advance his career. He's
Mm-hmm.
demonstrated that he can go and develop teams and he can win games. And I think he needs to be compensated accordingly, right? And so he take advantage of the opportunity, whether he wins or not, right? He's deserving of being able to be on this stage and going back to the league and getting paid for it.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is doable, fellas. I mean, after all, man, Jimmy Johnson did it. He did. Right? So it is doable.
But Jimmy, a different Jimmy, but see, Jimmy's different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Jimmy different.
But remember, I know, especially T, you being up there in the Bay, you got to remember, Coach Harbaugh, really, they should have won now.
They're close.
Yeah, they got close.
Hey, when I say this close, they should have won that game.
I think it's a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, because he was that close. And it's one of those things where, that game, if you run it back, it came down to one play. And that's hard for a man to swallow, man. So, I mean, I wish him the best of luck, and we'll see. But like I said, again, I think it will significantly hurt Michigan as far as, kids really wanting to go to Michigan to play for him.
Hey, how much does his brother play into this, right? Just a little friendly brother competition, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's watching his brother do it. He's like, man, come on. I should be where you sitting right now.
Right. Facts.
Well, and he lost to his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
lost to his brother.
He did.
He might want to get back.
I know Thanksgiving's got ugly.
So on to our next topic, and obviously you guys will see if Michigan really takes a step back or if Harbaugh does his thing out the gates at San Diego. We're on to our next topic, and this is definitely one that I wanted to bring up with the fellas. Unfortunately, some guys don't transition well. They don't transition well out of football, whether it's after college, whether it's after playing professionally. And these are some gentlemen amongst many that have said they've suffered some bouts of depression, you guys, after leaving the game for whatever reason. And I wanted to ask you guys, we'll start off with you, MB, a great career, career that most only dream of, when you finally said, this is it, I'm never going to tote the rock again in my life. Was that an easy transition, or did you have some dark moments with that?
Well, it was a crisis. It was a crisis.
Yeah.
And I don't know many other brothers that it wasn't a crisis. They may say it wasn't, but I feel like it was, at least for me. And I've had a lot of time to think about this and talk about this with a lot of former teammates. People don't understand that most of us start playing this sport at a young age. And you think about the dopamine and the experience when you're in your formative years of being celebrated by everybody. I mean, your parents coming to all the games, all your classmates love you. Teachers are moving out the way to make sure you get your grades. Everybody's holding you on a pedestal. When you're getting that type of affirmation at a young age, right, along with competing on the field and battling and the adrenaline that comes with that, and then to go from that to go to college, maybe even go to the pros, and then have that stripped away. And a lot of guys don't know what to do with that, and don't know how to process it. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't even know what's going on with them, but nothing seems to live up to that, right? That nothing seems to live up to being in front of 60,000 people screaming and yelling on a 3rd and 2, or 4th and 1. Yeah. And I think people have to understand that you're asking a lot for guys to come back and just be a normal civilian. It's like military. Like the military experienced the same thing, right? These guys go out in the battlefield and see dead bodies, bullets flying and all. Then you got to come back and be normal. How do you be normal?
Yeah.
And I know for me, it took me to really absorb that and understand that I wasn't tripping, right? And it's okay that I felt overwhelmed by becoming a civilian, if you will. And you know, once I was able to absorb that and accept that, I began to channel my energy a little bit different. I think one of the ways that I made it was like, I was like, hey man, I got to take all of this energy and this competitiveness, and I got to channel it toward what's in front of me to try to make the best of any opportunity that I can run into. But I do think it's important to have a network of brothers, you know, that you're with, that you're talking with, that you're sharing this information with, that you're bouncing the information off of them, and being open about it, because we need to normalize this. Nothing's wrong with you. You know, when you get done with the game and um, you're feeling depressed a little bit because you didn't really get to where you wanted to get, and you're not being celebrated the same way you used to be celebrated, and no one's calling your name anymore. Matter of fact, no one's calling you at all. It's normal for you to feel down about that, and I think it's important to have a good network and build it, you know, build the pieces back, man, to put your life together. But you have to acknowledge it first, and I think sometimes brothers feel like acknowledging that means that they're weak or that something's wrong, and I'm here to say that I bet that overwhelmingly the majority of players who get done playing experience this more than not.
Yeah. Totally
Wow,
agree.
that's big right there. Appreciate you being open and honest with us. That's why you guys come into the locker room. Q, talk to me a little bit, man. I mean, we've got some stars right here. Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer. Steve Smith right here. You know, these are gladiators. He says, despite all of my achievements, I routinely felt trapped, inferior, and alone. This overwhelmed me internally, often left me mentally, physically, and emotionally broken. The great Brian Dawkins, this is somebody that used to knock people's heads off. Talk to me about your days after playing arena football, man. Was that an easy transition?
I mean, man, it's like this. See, I was here in Houston, man. I was speaking to a good friend of mine, you know, who was in the league for some years, you know, well over 10 years, you know, and we were having this conversation, and he was like, man, I was like, you know, what is it about what affected you the most? And he was like, the silence. And I was like, what you mean? And he was like, he said, man, it's what you miss is that deafening noise from that 70 and 80,000, 100,000 people. And he was like, it's his silence now. He said,
I got goosebumps, man.
It's deafening silence.
Well, it's not even just the silence from the game, man. It's the silence of, I'm not hearing guys yell in the locker room. Right. I'm not hearing the coach yell and say next drill or move it down. You know, it's silence.
It's a combination.
It's a combination of things, man. It's like MB said, it's silence from my phone ain't ringing. It's silence everywhere, brother. Because coach calling me, the coach that recruited me and was calling me every day. Now, you know, he's on to the next. It's silence everywhere.
No, it definitely is, man. I mean, all the way down again to your teammates, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Whether it's on the pro level, college, you know, it's those other 10 guys looking back at you in the huddle. You know what I'm saying? That's what you miss too. It's that constant camaraderie, and that's why, you know, agree so much with MB said, man. It's like you have to put, you know, man, good people, man, your guys around you that have these conversations, man, because we're all at some point in time, man, feeling the same thing or have felt the same thing, man.
And it doesn't matter what level you're on as well. I want to interject this because I've had brothers reach out to me and they say, MB, but you played in the league. It doesn't matter. It's like if you've participated in this sport and you've experienced what it's like to compete and have that celebration of what you're doing, the coaching and just in between the lines, it's nothing like it. And you find yourself really chasing that, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't matter if you go to, to the league. You can experience that just from playing in high school. And then moving on and going to a normal career and have a letdown and feel like you're a little depressed.
Definitely. No, I appreciate you brothers being open and honest. And if you young athletes out there, whether you're playing now, maybe you're going through an injury, or maybe your career just ended, make sure, like these gentlemen said, reach out and get some help. Let people know what you're going through there. So appreciate you guys being honest with us. We're on to our next topic, and we're flying through. We've got the great Marlon Barnes with us. Phenomenal running back, you guys, out of Memphis, Tennessee, toting the rock. And this is one that I definitely wanted to bring up with you guys, because now we're getting so much money being thrown at these kids with NIL, and obviously your Power 5 schools are going to want to raise the most money. Right here, they've even got rankings for top 10 NIL collectives. And for those that don't know, the collectives are basically a hedge fund so that the donors and alums can throw money at these kids. So I wanted to ask you guys, and we'll start off with you, Q. You know, back in our day, man, it was, we would judge a coach off of wins and losses. We judge them off of grade point average. We judge them off of who's getting arrested. Today, do we also need to judge them based off of how much money they got to throw at kids?
I mean, I wouldn't say us, but that's definitely how the kids are gauging where exactly they're gonna go, for sure. I mean, they're the two factors now. You know, again, with our era was we were looking where's the highest ranked schools that we can go and get on the field immediately. These kids, in addition to that, are looking at where are the highest ranking schools that I can get on the field immediately and get the biggest bag. You know, and that's just part of the game now, man. It's just like, you know, we heard, Coach from Nebraska say, and we say this all the time, they were so offended, it's going to cost you $1 million for a starting quarterback. That's just the going rate. You know, we've heard Prime say it. That's just what it is. What he say, T, $50,000 is going to get you, couldn't get you a walk-on. That's real. You know, I mean, and that's why these collectives are needed by these Power 5 schools, because nowadays that's the only way, literally the only way to stay competitive. That's the only way.
Talk to me, MB. I mean, if let's say I'm in the middle of the Big Ten, I'm the Minnesota coach or something, should I grant this coach a little more grace because he doesn't have as much as Ohio State or Michigan? Or should it still be, hey, wins and losses?
No, I think you should, right? Because I feel like the NIL is just, it's letting the NCAA off the hook, man. I mean, we're at a point, there's so much money coming into these colleges that we should be able to have a pool where you can literally have slots what players are making, right? We shouldn't even be at this point with the NIL where certain players get to gobble up all the money and you got players on the team that's not getting anything, right? The NCAA, right? They're the clearinghouse, right? They're like the mafia. They're standing in between the money. Let these schools give these kids some money, and it should be set up whether you plan or not. You should be able to get a check, and you know what you're getting, and you can feel good about it and go out and compete.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you're contributing more, if you're a superstar,
that would probably solve the portal too.
That's to solve the portal, because if you're a superstar, everyone agrees that you should get some different opportunities. Right. Yeah. I'm cool with that, but wouldn't you feel better if you come to a school and they tell you, hey, man, you're going to get $30,000 a year regardless, right? Just because you're a part of a successful program. Right. Yeah, it's slotted. It's just like the NFL. You get minimum, you're slotted.
That's a good point.
NCAA is the one who's getting off the hook with this. And the NIL, to me, I don't like to talk about it because I feel like it's just it's messed up. And it's ruining the game in the sense that players are chasing the bag, and we know that there's only a certain percentage of these players who are really deserving of the bag. Everybody's not a star, right?
Yeah.
But now with the NIL, it's making people feel like they're missing something. You got guys jumping in the portal when they really should stay put because of the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
NCAA, let's take the money. Let's take every university based on how they perform, take the pool, and just have slots. Everybody know what they're getting. And then if you perform over a certain level, then of course you get the money or whatever, but everybody feels good about it,
Right. It's kind of
that's my take on it.
Yeah, that's like with the league. Like you guys, you get league minimum. That's
listen, and
great
nobody's
point,
listen. The guy making the minimum is not looking at the quarterback mad because he's making 30
There
million.
you go. That's a great point, MB.
Good point.
Man, league minimum.
We got to
talk about that league.
We need scholarship minimum.
Right.
And I won't mind. And I won't mind from back in the day too.
You want your retroactive.
I want my restitution.
Yes. Yes.
EA Sports owes us some checks too. Shoot, we need all that little bread.
There you go. So hey, NCAA, you heard the man. He said you're standing in between the money. He said let the athletes in schools come up with some position minimums and get to the money, so we don't have these issues with NIL. Because as we see right here, you guys, people ain't happy. Ohio State spent $13 million buying their team. So, definitely believe Coach Day is going to be judged by that $13 million they spent. All right. So let's get on. Let's get on to our next topic, you guys, and thank you for joining us. This is one of the fan favorite portions of the show, the lightning round. We are so excited to have MB on, and we're going to take him through the lightning round. Word association, where we take our guests through a 60-second drill. He's got 60. Now, MB was fast. I seen this man 4-3 with my own eyes. So we're going to see how fast he is with these questions I got from him. And since I know this, Brad, I think I got a good list of questions. So, MB.
Okay.
We're going to get into it, and you got to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? So we got some people, we got some either or, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Now, I know we got a lot of buffs watching this, so if he's talking about you, don't take it personal, but we're going to take him through a little drill right here. So let me get the stopwatch ready. And we're going to see how fast. We got him at zero. Right. How fast MB can get through the lightning round. All right. Now, MB, we don't just do this for fun, baby. We actually have a wager on this. Now, I know you in Colorado. If you can get to 15 or higher, next time in Colorado, it's a dinner on us, a dinner on the locker room.
Let's go.
All right. So that usually gets people fired up. He's from Memphis, Tennessee, so you know he can eat. But we got him at 0. All right. Let's get into the lightning round, you guys. First thing that comes to Marlon Barnes' mind when I say something. All right. Number 1, Millington Central. Go.
Marlon Barnes.
Rick Neuheisel, you better hurry up, brother.
Political.
Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle.
Best player you ever played against?
Oh, my God.
You want to go to commercial?
Mike Brown.
Daly and Tomlinson.
GOAT.
Cordell Stewart.
Innovator.
Jodeci or Boys to Men? You got about 10 seconds.
Jodeci.
Pat Mahomes.
Prolific.
Baked potato or mashed potatoes?
Mash.
Time.
Bro, you need to stop with that. You need to stop with that.
I love it.
Stop. You need to stop.
MB was putting some thought.
He had to put some thought into it because,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful. When you're live, you got to be careful. That was a good lesson.
You killed me with the Rick Neuheisel, so I had to be careful. Okay, you
some time. I forgot there was some history.
You was wrong for that.
I'm sorry. I forgot there was some history there, brother. So let's count them up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then with the extra tech delay point that we always give, MB got 10. He bounced back.
Get 15.
Yeah, well, Rick Neuheisel was good for about 20 seconds.
You're not trying to buy that dinner. That's what that is. See, who's hit 15? That's what I want to know.
We gotta look that. We got 15 ain't no joke though. That ain't no joke. But we appreciate the great MB coming in with us. We got some people coming into the chat. The great Eric Paul says, "Keep your money in your wallet, Coach Wood." So there he goes. There he goes, right there. But we are on to the audience Q&A portion of the show, having some fun with my dear friend. This is somebody that took me under his wing. Always pleasant, always a good brother to me when I got to University of Colorado, except on that practice field. He was a bad man. So on to the audience question of the show. Q, I know you might have something, but MB, I got something for you, man. It's not always a red carpet journey for a lot of these athletes. And I know there were times in your career, man, that you felt like you should have got some more carries. Speak to the running backs, man, that are at these colleges right now. Maybe that cat that's on the practice squad in high school that knows he's got some talent. How do they need to handle talking to the coach about getting some more reps?
That's a great question. I don't know if it's a conversation around talking to the coach. You know, I think the coach is any good coach is always telling you what they're looking for, right? Okay. And any good coach is always telling you where you need to improve. So what you need to do is take the feedback and go put in the work. And I know that's not popular, nowadays, but again, if you're dealing with any good coach, they're constantly telling you what you need. I remember Coach Gregory, my freshman year. I always tell people this story. My freshman year at CU, when we were competing to see who was on the back of Rashawn. Coach Gregory, God rest in peace, God bless his soul. He told me, he said, "You're uncoachable," and he was right. He was right, because I wasn't listening to him, And I think at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to take the feedback that you're getting and go do what you need to do to get better. Because if you believe that a coach is genuinely, caring toward you, then you have to trust that they're giving you that feedback for you to do the best that you can do. So take it and go and improve. Instead of getting mad, instead of fighting, instead of running to the next spot, why not take it and try to get better? And I think I reached that point at some point in my career at CU. I kind of started to feel like, okay, I know what I need to go and do. I need to study more. I need to get in the weight room. I need to make sure I understand what the defense is doing. And it elevated my game. So that's what I would say to the young guys is like, you don't necessarily have to go to the coach and I want to play. There's a reason why you're not playing. So maybe you ask, hey, why am I not playing? But be ready for what the coach tells you.
Feedback, yeah.
And then go do something with it. Don't just take it and then go back to your friends talking about how you're getting done wrong. Call your mom and dad talking about you leaving because somebody's doing you wrong. Take the feedback and do something with it. Get better.
Great point right there. So sometimes it's a tough pill to swallow, but you guys, you got to take it. Take it with a grain of salt. Go ahead, Q.
I was about to say too, as far as running back, even though I wasn't a back, but I mean just understanding the game. And really, the best example I can give, other than Marshall Faulk in this era, is Christian McCaffrey. It's you running backs out there. How do you make yourself a complete back? We know you can run the ball. This is what MB, and again, look at Christian McCaffrey. Look at Marshall Faulk. All the greats. Can you pass block? How good of a route runner are you?
That's right.
How good running back it's evolved now. You have to be a complete back now. Everything isn't just carries. What do you because now you have to understand picking up blitzes, but you have to go out in the slot now. You have to be split out now. So it's other aspects of just actually running the ball from the backfield that you need to get better at. And that's why Christian McCaffrey is what he is, because he's a Swiss Army knife. He can literally do it all. Before him, Marshall Faulk could do it all. I'm talking 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing. So how can you make yourself a complete back?
That's good.
Great point right there. Great point right there. Well, hey, you guys, a lot of value out of tonight's show. I mean, you got honesty, you got advice, you got the whole nine. You got some of this man's story and his truth in this football industry. So, MB, obviously, you know I love you, brother. You my OG, you my dog, man, and keep up the great work. Thanks for coming in the show, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Nice meeting you.
Doubt.
All right, now.
All right, you guys. So there you guys have the great MB, Marlon Barnes. Once again, he's from Memphis, Tennessee. A phenomenal back, Q. You know, when I first got up to see you, bro, some of them names he mentioned, man, you better be ready at practice. But it prepared you. Going against guys like him prepared you for those Saturdays, you know. And it's just amazing, man, because some of these big schools, MB, I mean, maybe if you asked him, the most carries he ever got in a game was like 10, 12.
Well, that was because you were so deep. That's what I just said. You all's running back room was insane.
Matter of fact, I didn't get to show it while the great MB was on, but I do have a little clip for you young ones that didn't get to see this man live. Check him out real quick here.
They certainly agree with your analysis on first down. They run the post play. Barnes is back in, and Barnes is out of bounds at the 19-yard line.
No joke. No joke. Give it to we gonna run it.
They certainly agree with your analysis on first down. They run the post play. Barnes is back in, and Barnes is out of bounds at the 19.
Chicken wing, a little chicken wing.
It was a problem.
And that was Texas, you know. Right. We wasn't playing New Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, but man, you know, again, man, it's that's all we knew. You know, there was no portal to run to. It was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And if you want to get on the field and you want to be out there with the ones, you're gonna have to battle your way through it. You know, I think that aspect in regards to this game we love in football, that's what gives you what you need in life. You know, is understanding how to face adversity and you know, and get things done. And again, not totally this down in the portal, you know, it can be useful because, you know, if you do have an opportunity to go somewhere that might be a better fit, not everyone gets it right the first go around. But I think just too many kids are using it to run away from the smoke, man. And that's not what it should be used for.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And obviously you guys will continue to touch upon this topic because it's the topic that's really at the top of a lot of you guys' priority list. And you definitely need to know about it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Once again, every single Thursday, you guys, we're here. It's the end of the season. Come get your football fix with Coach Wood and Q the Guru in the locker room. And we've got a great lineup, you guys, coming your way for this offseason. We're bringing in NFL players and coaches, college players and coaches. It's all for you, all to serve you. Also, if you guys are someone that needs a little recruiting support, we are coming up on the regular signing period in February, I believe February 7th. And some of you guys don't have the phone ringing right now. So if you do want some support, if you do want some strategy, then we would love to help you out with Before You Go Pro. We're more than just content. We are also a recruiting and mentoring program serving athletes across the country. The great Coach Foss, who's with us tonight, the great Coach Jannaric James, are some of the team members that help us get to kids to schools across the country, you guys. So if you do need some support, check us out, beforeyougopro.com. And then bare minimum, you guys, just so you can show us some love, make sure that you like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell your dog, tell your coach that the Locker Room Show is where it's at. All right, you guys, because we're going to be bringing it this off season. And if you guys continue to tap in with us, you're going to be a lot further ahead in this industry than everybody else. All right. So, Q, anything for the good people before we get out of here, brother?
No, but I'm looking at what Jimmy just said on the way out, 49ers versus Ravens. So we will see. I like the 49ers myself. I'm not per se a 49er fan, but right now with them playing the way that we've seen them play, man, they I think they might be the favorite. So we'll definitely see who you got.
Wants one.
I'm
Shanahan
telling you.
wants one.
Who you got? Who you rolling with, Coach?
Well, I'm in the Bay, so you guys know I'm rolling with the Niners.
Yeah.
Hometown team. We going with the hometown. But Jimmy says he's rooting for the Lions. He's going for the upstart kids. They may be a year early.
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
big ups too, man. St. Louis, man. Big ups to Jameson Williams, man. Absolutely electrifying, man, out of St. Louis, man. Cardinal Ritter kid. Yeah. And he's doing his thing with Detroit, man. You saw him at Alabama before definitely he got that knee injury. But man, the kid is special.
Detroit.
Keep an eye on him. He's gonna be fun to watch for some years to come. So big ups to him, definitely.
Yeah, good to see him come back from the injury with him and St. Brown and Gibbs. They definitely are problem
got some
on the
weapons,
offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And Coach Falls coming in with the conspiracy theory. He says TV posted that matchup before the divisional game. So people thinking it's going to be the Ravens and the Niners. But we will see you guys. And once again, thank you for joining us for tonight's show. We will see you next week with another great guest. Have a good one.